We're ready to continue now. We'll do so with South Carolina's Shane Beamer. The Gamecocks will host Alabama on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. To ask a question of Coach Beamer, please use the raise hand function. And Coach, while we wait on any questions today, if you could please take a moment to comment on your team as you prepare for this week's home game versus Alabama. One moment while we get Coach Beamer.
Ratio is off the charts, and he's operating at a high level. So happy for him. He's a great young man. We try to recruit him here. Excited about the opportunity here this weekend.
All right, for questions for Coach, please use the raise hand function, and we'll begin with Steve Moulton of WZZN.
Hey, Coach, how are you today?
Good, Steve.
Yeah, you mentioned right there about Ty. Offensively, how different does Alabama look under Coach Grubb? I realize different quarterback too, but scheme-wise, do you see any big differences from last year to this year, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of the same stuff. Obviously, you've got that entire offensive staff is still there. Last year, those guys had come from Washington and were part of that system, and Coach DeBoer being the head coach, nothing has changed. But certainly, when you have a new play caller, he'll bring his own, flavor and style. So I would say there's, certainly a lot of similarities. I think there's certainly things you look at and see some things that are different style quarterbacks. Last year with Jalen Milroe and some of the quarterback run game and things that are being winning. And now, with Ty Simpson, he's still an athlete. He certainly hurts you with his legs, but drop back pass and what they're able to do from that standpoint, running the ball, phenomenal offensive mind that is doing a great job of protecting the quarterback. So they're, look similar, have some differences, but one thing obviously jumps out is just the efficiency that they're operating at right now. You look at their time of possession. I think in their last 4 games, their offense has had it through 38 minutes, 35, 32, and 31, if I'm not mistaken. So they're doing a great job of operating at a high level.
And, Coach, if I heard you right yesterday, of what I could hear from your press conference yesterday, how healthy are you heading into this matchup? And is this possibly the healthiest you've been for a while?
It is. We played the Oklahoma game last week, Steve. When I did this teleconference last week, we had 3 offensive linemen we knew that, probably weren't going to play against Oklahoma. And then during the game, we lost 3 more offensive linemen. So there's 6 offensive linemen that weren't able to finish the game that had started games for us this season. All those guys we expect to play this week, except for one. That would be Casey Henry. That's who started at offensive tackle against Missouri. But yes, it's the healthiest we've been certainly since the Missouri game last month. And we're not. I wouldn't say those guys that are 100%, but they'll be able to play this weekend is our anticipation as we sit here on Wednesday.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Next is David Eckert of the Austin American Statesman.
Hey, Shane. Appreciate the time. I kind of just wanted to get your assessment of how Lenoris has coped with the pressure that's been sent his way, and I guess how that's kind of impacted him on a season-long basis.
I think he's handled it well from that standpoint. I mean, he's a guy not much gets to him. I mean, he's what you see is what you get. Stays pretty consistent, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, but it's without a doubt a different time. I think I talked on this thing last month, just, there's so much more attention. I was in college with Michael Vick, and, Michael Vick, we played in the national championship game January of 2000, and everybody knew about Michael Vick, but you didn't really hear necessarily about Michael Vick every single day for the next 9 months until the season started, because you didn't have all of these different forms of social media back then. You didn't have all these different podcasts and everything that's on YouTube constantly. So it's a different time, whether it be for Lenoris or Arch Manning or any, young quarterback or great player. There's just attention on you year round that you haven't had to deal with in the past. But from Lenoris' standpoint, I think he's very grounded. He, his world has certainly changed. I mean, last year at this time, we were getting ready to play Alabama, and we just lost to Ole Miss at home, and people are sitting here questioning his ability as a quarterback. And then you fast forward 6 weeks later, we beat Clemson, and he's the talk of college football. So things can change quick, and his world has certainly changed a lot in the last year. But I think he's handled it well. He'll be the first to tell you that, he's not happy with the way that we played or he's played. But in regards to the off-field stuff, David, I think he's handled it well.
Yeah, I guess bringing up Arch, I mean, it seems like him and Lenoris have kind of shared in dealing with really heavy pass rushes, so far this season. I'm curious with Lenoris, I mean, has something changed year over year with how he's been able to cope with that? What's your evaluation there?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say that we did a great job of protecting the quarterback last year. A lot of his explosive plays and scrambles were plays where we gave up some pressure, not necessarily on the offensive line, maybe on him for not getting rid of the ball quick enough, and running back, tight end, not doing their part. But, he dealt with some pressure last year with this year's team. We brought back both offensive tackles. One has been hurt most of the season and hasn't played, and we had to replace the interior of our offensive line. So we've got some new faces in there. I think it's similar and from last year in regards to, how we're protecting and what we're doing. We need to be better. There's no question about it. And, I'm confident that we will be. I don't like seeing him under pressure, but we've got to do a better job around him. And then we all need to be better.
Appreciate it, Shane. Good luck this week.
Welcome. Thank you.
Next is Colin Gay of the Tuscaloosa News.
Hi, Shane. Kind of a continuation on what David was just asking, but with Lenoris, how would you assess kind of his, I guess, for lack of a better term, like dual threat ability, his ability to tuck and run and kind of make plays with his feet? I know that's kind of at the center of a lot of Alabama fans' mind, is his ability to run. How would you assess how he's been able to do that this year?
Yeah, as in my opinion, as good as anybody in the country. I think he's shown what he can do when the ball is in his hands. Very rarely is one person going to bring him down. We need to be better at running the football so we can do some of the one design quarterback run game, and then two, just him handing the ball off to our running backs. But certainly if things do break down, he can make things happen with his feet. He showed that, he's shown that many times. And then there's an element of our offense that's a design quarterback run game, whether it's, him automatically running it or him having a, zone read option where he can hand it off a bullet, which we've had plenty of those, or just, RPO where you can run it or kick the ball out to a receiver. It's no different than any team in America does, but certainly he's dynamic with the ball in his hands, whether it be throwing because he can make all the throws or whether it be running because he's a load to bring down when he does run.
Looking back at what Alabama was able to do, I guess, containing Lenoris as a runner last year, looking back at that film, what did you see and kind of how do you approach a similar defense, a similar style of defense for Lenoris this time?
Yeah, they did a good job. They make it tough on you with different looks they give you, and there were times last year where they mixed it up, or they're playing coverage and they have a spy on him, which they did some last year, or they're zero blitzing us and bringing everyone, and they know the ball's got to get out of his hands quick, and they rally up to make a tackle, which is what they did some last year. So they do a great job. Coach Womack does a really nice job of mixing things up and keeping you off balance. And they did that last season, and we certainly got to stay a step ahead and be able to operate efficiently offensively.
Next, we have Charlie Potter of Bama Online.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Just going back to Ty from your opening, what do you remember about his recruitment, and what has maybe impressed you the most about the way he's played so far this season?
I knew obviously it starts with his dad. I got a lot of respect for his dad and him as a coach. At the time, our offensive coordinator was Marcus Satterfield, who had worked at UT Martin with Jason Simpson. So we had a natural connection, and then I knew Jason also. And, we started recruiting him and obviously fell in love with the kid, coach's son like myself, and just a great personality. Dad's awesome, mom is awesome, and someone that I really just you enjoyed recruiting, and this guy's going to be a successful player wherever he goes, and knew that if he didn't come to your school, he's making a decision for the right reasons to go wherever he went. Went to Alabama and waited his time patiently, and he is certainly taking advantage of it right now. He's a heck of a talent. And I texted his dad a couple nights ago. I was just sitting there watching their offense on tape, and just some of the throws that Ty has made this season. It's they're as good of throws as I've seen in a long, long time. Whether it be clutch plays on that fourth down against Missouri, they've got great coverage and he makes a heck of a throw, or some of the pressure he was under at times against Tennessee the other night, and he's able to sit in the pocket, and Tennessee's got great coverage on a receiver, and Ty literally puts the ball where only the receiver can catch it. It's literally like the perfect throws when he's under duress. So he is, to say that he's hot right now is an understatement, and that'll be a big challenge for us, but think the world of him as a young man, and I think the world of his family also.
That's going to be all your time today, Coach. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.